All right, well, if you've been napping, you may have missed the fact that Ecoflow upgraded their top-of-the-line portable unit, the Delta Pro, to the Delta 3 Pro. This is the all-new, completely redone, let's call it flagship for the new 3 series that's going to be rolling out. I guess there's really no secret that that's coming down the pipeline at this point. And I did a video on this when it launched, and now that I've had it for a while, I wanted to chime in with what I think about it. What's the good, what's the bad, what's the ugly? And the one thing I'm going to say is this is not, it's portable-esque. You know, back then we call these luggables. And I kind of mentioned it. It does have, you know, the luggage style extendable handle. It does have the wheels on the back. That does make it easier to move. But it's, you know, it's not without some issues. It weighs well over 100 pounds. It's not the kind of thing you want to take with you every day if you're just going out and about. You're going out for the weekend. I mean, if you were going in the RV, I could definitely see this in the RV. Or if you're towing a camper and you've got a truck like mine, you know, as you saw, I have it in the back of the truck because we were doing some stuff. We had a big picnic out in the park and we wanted to bring some extra power with us, and so this is what we brought. But here's the deal. You only have 1, 2, 3, 4 of the standard plugs, and you got your higher voltage plugs over here. You know, and there is a 30 amp RV plug over on the side here, and then we've got some of the solar input and stuff over here. It's not as convenient as, say, like the Delta 2 Max. I use that all the time. It's got 5 110s on it, a bunch of USB. Now this does have 2 USB-Cs and 2 USB-As, which is pretty much, you know, that's acceptable. I'm okay with that. But for the weight and capacity for even just basic like weekend camping and stuff like that, unless you're going to be using a ton of power, this is really overkill for all that. I don't think that most people need something like this. I mean, it's an incredible unit. But it's just like, you know, at the price point and at the weight and the size capacity, it's not something I want to take with me all the time. And I find often I look at it and I go, it's easier to grab the Delta 2 Max. Now I have the Delta 2 Max, so I can take that. I also have some of the River products, which are great for just tossing in, you know, the car, the truck, and if you're going out for the day, that kind of thing. But this is, when I consider this is either emergency power or event power. If you're going to a thing and you're going to be, you know, at an event all day, if you got a food truck or something like that, you're going to be there all day. If you're going, you know, camping for a week or something like that, and you got an RV or whatnot, you can put it in. I can see this. Home emergency power. I can see this. It's totally expandable. You can put a ton of extra batteries on it. You can hook up tons of solar and whatnot. It's a great solution for that. If what you're looking for, though, is that occasional use kind of power, I don't know if this would be the one I would recommend, because it gets to that point where it's so amazing, but it's not, it's daunting because it is, I mean, at 100 pounds, it's not all that bad. I mean, I can, you know, you can move it and stuff. I'm a bigger guy and, you know, stuff, but like my kids, you know, I might tell my kids to move it and they look at me like, Dad, really? But, you know, the two of them working together, they can get it up into the truck. It's just one of those things that you have to be in the right use case scenario. It's definitely not a solution for everyone. It's not a panacea. It is a niche solution. And in that niche, it's a really cool solution. But again, if you're looking for like everyday uses, it actually feels a little bit limiting with the only 4 110s. I get 4 versus 5. Maybe I'm kind of blowing that out of proportion. I guess it just feels like for as big a unit as it is, I would want more access. I would want more 110s. And maybe there is. Maybe I'll have to take a look. Maybe there's a breakout box I can put in there that will take the 30 amp and into a big power strip or something I can run a ton of stuff off of. But the reality is that it's for the stuff that we do, it's more than enough. For emergency power, it's fantastic. And I'm going to say this, and it's going to upset a lot of the gas guys. We get a lot of gas diehards on the channel, And I hear them all the time, gas is king until they can fill that thing up in, 5 minutes at my local gas station. It won't be, it can't handle hurricanes. We live in hurricane season. I had several people, we had hurricanes earlier this year, hurricanes and tornadoes that hit, I believe it was the Texas area. And I had a bunch of people reach out to me and be like, oh my gosh, I should have listened to you, or thank goodness I did listen to you in many cases. And I went electric as well as gas. You got to have the combination, really, if you really want to be fully supported. But they had issues where they couldn't get gas for days, 3 to 5 days in some areas, because power's out. You can't pump gas. Gas stations don't work. Like, I'll drive to the next gas station. Power was out for miles and miles and miles. I had a ton of people reach out to me and say, look, I couldn't get access to gas. It just was not a thing I could do. But I had, I had solar and I had electric, because once the storm blows through, that solar, it's still good. So I don't know. Let me know. Have you lived through an emergency like that? Were you able to get a hold of gas? Was it ever an issue for you? Also, gas storage. Gas storage, the more refined they do the gas, the harder it is. I know I use Stable and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, the sun's still running. So, okay, I wanted to jump in here real quick because we're talking about the good, bad, and the ugly. And I'm basically, I want to be clear on this. I don't think there's anything about these products that are inherently bad. I just worry about people buying it for the wrong use case scenario. And because the way I look at it with the Delta 3 Pro, at least from my perspective, is I look at this as something that's meant to stay somewhere, let's call it semi-permanent, and then moved occasionally. That's the way I would look at this. Now, some people may differ. I got some friends and husband and wife, and they really want to get one. The wife is just absolutely in love with this thing. And she's got this idea that they go camping a ton. But they also live outside of town, and the power is really squirrely, and she wants to have independent power access out there. And then when they go camping, it's just the two of them. They don't need to leave the power there. They're like, let's just take the power with us. They'll just throw it in the back of the car. They do a lot of car camping. They can just plug stuff in from the car. They're not going to take it out and stuff. So for them, it seems to work. But I want to take a look also at the pricing on this so you can see what we're talking about. Because, I'm a big fan of the Delta 2 Max. That's my personal favorite one, the one I use probably the most. And the Delta Pro 3 here, you're looking at $3,700. There's a $500 coupon, takes it down to, $3,200. And we're looking at specs wise here, is you're looking at 4,000 watt hours of capacity up to a 600 watt boost, which this is pretty typical for Ecoflows. 1.5 is usually the boost on it, which is way higher than you can get with a gas generator. Gas generator, the boost is going to be 10 to 15%, usually maybe 20% on some of them. With this, you're getting, a 1.5 times boost on these. Now, the rest of this, 7 outlets, but of course 4 of them are the 110s. The rest are the multi-voltage there. USB-C, I say multi-voltage, it's 240, they have, let me go back, because we have the AC range right here. It's 100 to 240, 15 amp. And that's what I mean by the multi-range there. The 120 up to 1,800 watt max, and the 240 will do the 3,600. So on the 120, you're only getting 1,800 anyway. But again, the person buying this, I think, is going to buy it to plug into their house or plug into their RV or something like that. It's not going to be they're just running. The 110s there are, I call them 110s. It's an old habit, older guys. 120s, I get it. They're there as a bonus, if you would. And again, like my friends who car camp, for them that's gonna make it that much more useful. Then we look over at the Ecoflow Delta 2 Max. Again, this is the one. It's essentially half this. All right, it is. It's half the power. It's 2,000 and some watt hours. It'll boost up to just over 3,000. The weight on it is 50 pounds, which is less. It's a little less than half. And the price on it at $1,600 $1,900 is around half the list price. Now, currently sold out. And I do want to be honest about this because I'm not trying to push anybody one direction. If you go over to Amazon right now, you can get this thing on sale for $1,300. This is the Delta 2. They have the Delta 3. Why is this thing going on sale? I'm pretty sure you can figure out. I've kind of hinted about it before. They're moving to Delta. They're moving to 3. That's the new series. Okay, so they're probably going to be clearing out the Delta 2. When the 3s are going to be out, I don't know. People are still going to ask me. People are still going to type and email me going, dude, you could tell me. I don't know. If I knew, I would tell you. But all I can tell you is that it doesn't take a genius to look and go, oh, look, Delta 3 is out. They're discounting all the 2s. Wonder what's happening next. Anyway, $1,300. You're going to get 2,400 watt hours of LFP. It's 2,048 watt hours output. 2,400 is the max output, whereas 2,400 is how much power it has. It has the boost mode. It goes up, I think, to 3,200 or something like that. Anyway, $1,300 versus $3,200 went on sale. And again, it's basically half the unit. The difference, the reality is, one's really portable, one's not so portable. I've had this thing here for a while. It's weird, this summer we've had a lot of major storms. It's really come in handy. I never have to think about it. I've got all the power in the world. In fact, I had to have my wife call and tell me one time that the power was out in town. I didn't know. I was still working away. I was perfectly fine. Everything automatically switched over because I had everything running into this. And then when the power comes back on, it was automatically charging from the wall. So I was fine. Anyway, just wanted to add that in there. Let's jump back into it. Anyway, let me know what you think. If this is something you'd look for, are you looking for something smaller? What's the use case that you're looking for when I talk about these kind of power solutions? Put it down in the comments. I want to hear it. Anyway, thanks again to Ecoflow for sending this out for review. They've been a lot of fun to work with on these new launches and stuff. Can't wait to see what's coming down the pipe soon. Anyway, if you want to see what's coming on down the pipe, make sure you go down there and you subscribe and ring the bell. Otherwise, YouTube doesn't believe you. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. You all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on.